Well, it's time to rank, rate, and tier the Halloween franchise. Oh, and this is, by the way, a thing on how to watch it. It's really, really accurate. Now, just in case you want a screenshot. Let's check out the tiers we have. So first up, we have Great, which is classic, of course. Classic, instant classic, the GOAT. We have Good, which is good, enjoy it, very good making, story, everything else. Watchable, as in they do have some key moments I enjoy, but for the most part, it's either mid or just blah. There's really nothing special about it. Probably, do without it, but I could still watch it. And Stab Me, as in it shouldn't have been made, throw it in trash. Since we have 13 freaking movies to cover, let's just jump right into it, shall we? Starting with my number 13, which in no surprise should be Halloween Resurrection. And I at least was a nice, and I gave it a 3 out of 10 because at least they tried. And there is one scene in there that is good, and everything else is trash. And that is when he chased Lori to the hospital. Other than that, everything else about this movie is trash, except for Busta Rhymes, kicking Michael's ass. But that's about it. That's about it. Everything else is trash. Yeah, complete utter garbage. Nothing really else to say about it. I think it's about guess where it's going. Stevie. Yeah, like literally when I watch this movie, like I kind of want to, no pun intended, want to stab myself in the brain because literally it's just utter garbage. Like I don't know what was going through their mind when they were wanting to make this movie, and they just came up with a script and just threw it all together and just said, "Oh, good enough," or did they just think that they were actually making something really good? I don't know. Either way, it was horrible. Complete utter garbage. Stab me. Which brings me to my next thing is Halloween 2, 2009. Oh, I already struggled enough with Rob Zombie's two movies, but in all honesty, this one right here, it takes a cake. It is horrible. And I know some people are gonna say there's another movie that absolutely is worse, but I'm sorry, no. I've rewatched this multiple times. It is horrible. It is literally horrible. Why would you go down a complete, utter different path to go to Michael Myers? You made him human for one. You made him literally a human for one. And then you throw all this devilish stuff in there, and it didn't even make sense. You didn't refer to the curse or nothing. It was just nonsensical. Like if you would have thrown the curse in there or something, yeah, you would have got cookies. But no, just no, horrible. Therefore, I deserve the spot down there and to stab me as well. You could just do without it. Disregard these two movies and continue to and just leave the franchise like that. It's good. It's good. Just like that. You don't even need these two. Just horrible. Wow. Brings me to my number 11, Halloween 5. A lot of people say this one is worse than Resurrection and 2. Um, that you could make an argument, absolutely, but no, not for me. No, no, no. At least this one is enjoyable at some points. You have him going after his niece again. Yes, some of the dialogue don't make sense, and she's deaf now, and this and that. But at the same time, it's enjoyable. Some of the stuff besides Tina, you could disregard Tina. I'm glad she got stabbed for a reason. Anyway, everything else about it though is kind of you can watch it. It's watchable. It's some points in are enjoyable. Dr. Loomis coming back, him fighting Michael at the end, etc., etc. The prison scene at the end, in my opinion, was pretty damn good. Like I couldn't deny that. But it's enjoyable. Not really enjoyable, but watchable. You know, the other two wasn't. So for that reason, it's number 11. It's 5.5 and it'll work its way into the watchable category. So anything from up here, we're getting to the watchable stage. So watchable, 5.5 out of 10. For me to the next one is Halloween 2007, the remake, Rob Zombies. It's easily a 6 out of 10. It's my number 10 for a simple fact on it. It has some good moments in here. I like the cast. I like the way everything went. Everything was good, but they did have some unnecessary things in that movie, if you know what I'm saying. On top of some of the dialogue just didn't add up. Like they kind of went off course for a little bit, then back on, and it was like okay, and then back off, and it was just kind of it's watchable, it's enjoyable. I could sit and watch it, and I'll be okay with it. Easily a 6 out of 10, and we'll stick it right in the watchable category along with Halloween 5. Now we're getting into some good territory here. These are very enjoyable, and anything above here, really enjoyed it. Halloween Ends is absolutely a 6 out of 10 as well, but it is higher because I really enjoy it. However, there could have been a lot of work And let's just be honest, some of the stuff I would change just a little bit. But other than that, I really enjoy this movie. I think it's really good. And it adds on to that branch going off from the different universe that John Carpenter's trying to take. It's basically, a requel and yada yada yada. And it's really a good tie into that trilogy. So I really enjoyed it. I don't think it was too terrible. And I enjoy to see what the end of it brings, if you know what I'm saying. The end of it kinda, I feel like there's something gonna become of that, but that's just me. We'll see. It's easily going to go in the good tier because I really enjoy it. I really think it's pretty good. Don't really have anything negative to say about it besides, a little bit of work could have been done. There was a lot of expectation. But at the end, if you really rewatch it with, lower guard of expectation, it's really good. Brings me to my number 8. Easily a 6.5 out of 10 is going to be Halloween Kills. I really enjoy this movie. I don't really, in all honesty, it has room to move up, in my opinion. I don't want to say it's mid, but it is not the best. And some people are saying it's the best. Some people are saying it's awful. I don't see why. I think it's literally just right down the middle. It's mid, but a little bit more. I think it has room to move up. For a simple fact if you can get past the annoying dialogue of "Evil dies tonight" through the whole freaking movie, it's a really good movie. If you watch it and see what happens and what is happening and how he literally just goes absolute full on I don't give a shit mode in this movie, it's literally great. The way he tricks him too, like people were like, "Oh my god, I hate the way people are so stupid." No, it's him tricking them. It's like he knew if I do certain things, I could trick these people, and he did, and they fell for it. That was the whole point, in my opinion. And towards the end too, I mean, look what happened. Now you can't say now Jason beats him that easily, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. And I don't want to hear no bullshit, because y'all know what happened. Anyway, other than that, if you can get past that cringeworthy dialogue of "Evil dies tonight" through the whole freaking movie, it's really a good movie. I really enjoy it. I think it's great. 6.5 out of 10. It's easily going to go in the good tier. Which brings me to number 7. Yes, I went right down a long line. I'm sorry, but it's true. 7.5 out of 10. It's not the best. There's stuff that I would change. There's stuff that I wanted to see. There's stuff that, it could have capitalized on, in my opinion, but it just didn't. But it's still a great movie. Easily a 7.5 out of 10. It's easily my number 7. And I love the way it started that new trilogy. There was no other better way, in my opinion, that it could have done that. It capitalized on that. And for that, it is my number 7, 7.5 out of 10. And it's definitely going to go in the good tier. And next up, we have my number 6, which is Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. 8 out of 10. This movie is really enjoyable. And for the people who hate it, hear me out. Don't look at it as a Halloween movie. It is not a Halloween movie or a Michael Myers movie. It is just in general horror movie. Season of the Witch is what they should have called it. It shouldn't have been Halloween 3. I admit that right now. That's the only mistake they made in this movie. They should have just called it Season of the Witch. And if you watch it with that open mind, I promise you, you're going to see this movie is absolutely great. Literally just watch it, doing that, rewatch it if you have to. I promise you, you'll see exactly what I'm saying. Don't look at it as a Halloween movie or Michael Myers. Look at it as Season of the Witch and watch it just like that. For that reason, it's definitely going in my good tier, period. Easily 8 out of 10. I really enjoy this movie. Brings me to number 5. Oh, a lot of people hate this movie. And you know what? I don't understand why it's so hated. I get why people are confused when they watch it and stuff like that. But to hate on it, when it has, especially if you look at the director's version of it, in my opinion, it's great for one simple reason. It explains a lot of his curse. Why his curse is, and what happens during that curse. It's really a pagan ritual type of thing, and that's what it should be. It's literally the curse of Thorn. He is Samhain. And this goes in context of it. And that's why I love this movie so much. I love Season of the Witch, but it's easily going to be just a hair below this one because I enjoy this one a little bit more. I always find myself going back and watching it every single time, especially the director's cut. Y'all need to check out the director's cut if you haven't, and you'll understand why. This is easily number 5, an 8 out of 10. I really enjoy this movie. It's easily going to go in the good tier, and this is the last of the good tier. We're moving on to greats. Let's go. First up in the great, as my number 4, 8.5 out of 10, is Halloween 4. Love this movie. Literally, the greatest thing ever that could have happened in bringing back Michael from number three was this movie right here. To go after a niece, long lost niece you don't know, through the whole movie, the way everything was set up, bringing Loomis back, him going to protect the girl, Michael's, coming out of the hospital, proclaimed to survive. He comes out in the bandages, and that was one of the craziest things ever, in my opinion. That scared the hell out of me too. It's just great, all around great movie. Easily 8.5 out of 10. Easily gonna take my number four, and I find myself going to watch this movie a lot, over and over again, and still enjoy it to this day. So easily gonna be my number four, and it's definitely gonna take the first slot in the great tier. Next up is gonna be Halloween H2O. Easily 8.5 out of 10. The only reason my number three is because I slightly enjoy it just a little bit more than number four is because I find it so great. The cast. You get a huge, great cast. They're utilized great. The story is told great. Bringing back Michael the way they did was great. And just everything about it from point A all the way to point Z. It's literally just everything that I would have wanted in a comeback movie about 20 years later. It's Halloween 20 years later. What better way to tell that story just like that? And this is the OG Laurie, where she didn't give a shit. I love the new movies, but no, I'm sorry. This Laurie right here wasn't playing no games, bro. You came after her baby boy, and she gonna whoop that ass. So easily takes my number three spot, 8.5 out of 10. And it is easily gonna go in my great tier. Which brings me to my final two. And boy, oh boy, let's just get into it. Which brings me to my number two. Halloween, the original. I know y'all are screaming and punching at y'all's screens right now, yelling at me, why? But it's easily a 9 out of 10. It's still great. It's the GOAT. It's peak, and it's dang near neck and neck. But the thing is I love this movie so much, and I don't think there was any other great way to start the franchise off just like this. I wouldn't change a dang thing about this movie, period. I absolutely love it. I enjoy it. And it is one of the greatest horror genres, in my opinion, to this day. And it is thanks to this masterpiece right here. It's easily going to go in the great tier amongst the GOATs, and literally my number two spot. Brings me to my number one. It's easily going to be Halloween 2. It's easily going to be a 9 out of 10 as well. I just enjoy this movie just a little bit more. And I've rewatched them. Okay? And I can tell you with a firm grip, I haven't changed my standpoint for one reason. Because the way they did this sequel and tied it in to a straight continuation, did it the way they did it, utilized it in a hospital, utilized it with what they had, and it capitalized, in my opinion. And on top of that, the jump scares. The jump scares in this movie, in my opinion, literally outmatched the original. Literally, every jump scare in this movie got me. When I'm seeing Michael walk through a hospital, a dark, creepy hospital, it makes me not want to go into a hospital anymore. Literally. That's how it is. When I watch this movie and I go in the hospital from now on and I see some little dimming lights, I'm looking across some corners like, am I going to see Michael coming? And it's because of this movie right here. This movie did that to me. For that simple fact on, it's so great. It's goated. And I find myself watching it every time just a little bit more than the original. I enjoy it and I never get tired of it. And it's the way it was written. John Carpenter did so great on this movie, and it's easily going to take my number one spot. Easily going to be the last part in my great tier amongst the GOATs. Brings me to my conclusion of this movie, and it's my favorite part because I get to express all the differences on why I put them where I put them. And in all honesty, I will say this with a firm grip, that all these movies have a chance to move up. Through time, the older you get, the more things change, the more things you might think that you didn't think before. But for right now, I'm happy with this list for the simple fact on the ones at the bottom, they're probably not going to move. They're probably not going to move any more than they have because they're just plain horrible. When I go back and rewatch them, I don't enjoy them. I find myself getting bored, falling asleep, or just saying same old BS. I'm done. It's literally just not that good. Shouldn't have been made, period. The watchables, they have room to move up. or possibly down, depending. They're watchable. I can watch them, and I can sit there and enjoy them somewhat, and that's it. That's really all there is to it. There's nothing more to give and take back. Halloween 5 does have some really funny moments in it, more than scary, and that's sad, but at the same time, it's enjoyable as well. Tina's annoying, and that's about it. Everything else is just right down the middle, and it's really not nothing too much going on. Besides some good scenes in there where he's chasing Jamie. Other than that, there's really nothing else going on. Halloween Rob Zombies, I really enjoy some key moments in there, but like I said, it's just inconsistent. It's off balance, and that's what really ruins it for me. If it was consistent and what it was going for, I think it would be more enjoyable. But it just goes to wibble wobbles, and it just throws you off base. And for that, I can't put it any high. All the good tiers are basically the same. I enjoy them, and I will say this: I want to put Halloween Curse in the great tier. I'm so close to doing it, but I can't for a simple fact on they did not utilize as much as they could have. You got Paul Rudd, you got Loomis back. There's a lot of capitalization you could have made on there, and it was just a little bit inconsistent with the story. But other than that, everything was great about it. I think if you really watch it, especially the director's cut, you understand more. It's the theatrical cut's kind of confusing. The director's cut gives you more insight on a lot of stuff that you might have missed. That's really it. I enjoyed the kills. The mask is my favorite. And that's really it. Everything else deserves where it needs to be in the good. And the GOATs definitely deserve what they need to be. And the reason I pick Halloween 2 over 1, again, it's for the simple fact on the sequel capitalized so much and did so much with the little time it was written. And did it so well. And to do that all in a hospital with the cast that they did is just great. So I'm happy with the tier list. Hope